Hi, I'm Rick from Raptor Blasting Systems, and today I want to walk you through the setup on the RB900 direct pressure system and the direct pressure cabinet. When we ship this, usually we ship it on 2 pallets. So you'll have your pressure system on 1 pallet and you'll have your cabinet on another. We'll start with setting up the direct pressure unit itself. Typically it will come with the motor disconnected and unattached from the unit, from the dust collector, and the reclaim, the top of the reclaim, which is bolt-on, will be separate from the lower half of the dust collector and the reclaim and blast pot, the whole system. So you're going to take the reclaim, you're going to put it up on top of the reclaim hopper, and it's 4 bolts, very simple, 4 bolts on each corner that bolt it down to the hopper. Then we're going to connect the dust collector 5-inch hose that goes from the inlet on the dust collector to the outlet on the top of the reclaim. At that point, you're going to want to put the motor on top of the dust collector with the on-off switch facing the front of the door housing. Now it's time to connect the timer for the pulse valve. This is your pulse valve right here. We're going to connect the timer to the top of the pulse valve. You slide it down onto the shaft. There's a little rubber O-ring that goes down and then the nut on the top. Tighten that down and your timer is in place. Once you get the timer on the pulse valve, then it's time to hook up the air receiver. This air receiver feeds the pulse valve, which in turn will help you clean out your cartridge. It's timed every 90 seconds it pulses. We need to get air to this line. The way we do that is there's a 1/2-inch air hose that comes from the cabinet, the T right before the moisture trap, down here right behind the regulator. Your cabinet will have a 1/2-inch air line. The 1/2-inch air line gets slid onto the nipple for the air receiver. Now that you've got your dust collector completely hooked up, you've got your motor and impeller into the housing up top, the timer attached to the pulse valve, and you've got air coming to your air receiver. We need to hook the cabinet to the blast mechanism. So you've got your inlet valve here, and the air in that comes into the inlet valve comes from your cabinet right after the regulator. You're going to hook this line to the cabinet there. Then all we need to activate the pot is to hook your foot pedal up. Now the foot pedal has 2 blue lines coming off of it. One goes to the T right before the regulator. It's pretty self-explanatory. You'll see the fitting there that it screws onto. The other hose and blue line comes from the foot pedal, the longer hose, over to the inlet valve, and you'll see fittings there that accommodate that fitting. So you're going to hook your foot pedal to the inlet valve, long cord, short cord to the T prior to the regulator. Next we're going to hook up the outlet valve. There's a blow off for the outlet valve. So when you step on the foot pedal, you initiate the inlet valve, lets air into the pot, the outlet valve closes, which lets the pot pressurize. When you let off the foot pedal, the opposite happens. The inlet valve will shut off, not allowing air into the pot, and the outlet valve will open to let the pressure exit into the reclaim. So we need to hook up the outlet valve hose from the outlet valve to the top of the reclaim here by the inlet, where the blow off will go back into the reclaim. Next we're going to attach your reclaim hose to the back of the cabinet. You've got a 4-inch outlet on the back of the cabinet, the back of the bottom of the sump. You attach the 8-foot flex hose that you're supplied from the back of the cabinet, from your outlet in the cabinet to the inlet, the 4-inch inlet on the reclaim itself. Keep in mind that you don't want to have any slack in that hose. You want that hose to come out of the cabinet and go straight up without any sag, so you won't get a slug when it's pulling media back into the reclaim. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to hook your blast hose to the Chicago fitting or a crow's footing on the metering valve. Make sure your metering valve is 3 turns out from closed, and then all we need to do is hook air to the inlet on the cabinet. Now that we have the cabinet set up, all we need to do now is put air to the cabinet 1 and then plug the cabinet into a power source. So your air inlet is right here at the moisture trap. I suggest that if you're coming from the wall, the nice thing to do is put a ball valve on the wall, and then don't run any quick disconnects or any small line that's going to restrict your flow of air. You want 3/4 inch line going to the cabinet. Lastly, we're just going to plug the dust collector, turn the switch to on, plug that into the light box, plug your light box into your power source at the wall, 110 socket, and then you control the motor for the dust collector and the lights inside the cabinet just by a flip of one switch. You flip that switch, dust collector, whole system is powered on. Now that the cabinet is set up, all we need to do is fill it with media. The pot system will hold about 2.5 bags of media, or 125 pounds. My suggestion for filling it is dump it into the cabinet, but don't dump it in all at once. Put maybe 10 pounds in at a time. Let the cabinet suck up a little bit, add a little bit more. It makes it easier for the system to handle loading. And you're ready to blast.